Hey, welcome everyone back to another episode of One Man on Mars devlog. My name is Roman and I hope you're doing good. Today we're gonna have a look at a very important part of every game that is out there, but we haven't really talked about it yet. It's coding. So yeah, let's catch up today and check out a very tiny script that kind of helps the camera to start exactly at the right position whenever a level is loaded. I kind of will try to explain it as easy as possible so everyone will be able to follow. I mean, I'm not really a pro coder myself, so I'm pretty sure you can you will understand it as well. As always, I would like to ask you to like this video on YouTube. Yeah, check out the YouTube channel. There are a lot of other devlog entries about a lot of different other topics. Check out my website. It's www.lifesadventure.com. If you want, add your email address to the mailing list so you will be informed about all the new developments. And yes, let's get going. Alright, here we are in the Unity editor, and first I think it would be good to check what are our needs for this script. So let me quickly explain. Here's my camera object, and in the background you can see part of this level. And the camera, as I explained in one of the last devlogs, will always follow the camera. So whenever the level loads, the camera checks where is the character and it will move towards the character and then follow the character through the game. So let's just hit play quickly and see how that looks. So yeah, check out what the camera is doing down here and see how that looks on the upper screen. So let's hit play. Alright, you see the camera is moving towards the player, and it's just not fast enough because it's a bit too far away. One solution, one simple solution would be just move the camera closer to the character and hit play again. But the problem with that is we never know where the character will start, since there are different safe spots in the level, and you never know where the character will be. So our script needs to check where is our character and needs to place the camera on the character and then activate the camera. So yeah, let's create a script. Let's add the script. This here's the camera game object here, main camera. Let's add a component to this script here. So let's call this camera position script. All right. Create and add. Okay, let's open up this script. Here we are using Microsoft Visual Studio, and yeah, you can see the name of the script. This is the class camera position script, and what we first need are a few variables. Yeah, you can kind of think of them as containers where we kind of store information in it. So let me quickly add, for example, we need a variable for our camera. So let's add private game object my camera. So this is a private game object with the name my camera. So private means only this script can access it, and it is type game object and it's called my camera. I want to assign this this variable in the inspector in Unity, so I can define that as serialized field. So I'll get back to that later when we're back in Unity. But if I add this, I can manipulate this variable in Unity. If this is gone, then you cannot deal with any private component in Unity. You're just simply not going to see them. But anyway, it's not that important. What we else going to need are kind of the position data of our hero character. So let's add another variable that's private the type is transform, and let's call them hero character transform. So a transform stores transform information of any game object, so for example position, rotation, and the scale information of that game object. Then we will need to activate and deactivate a script. I talked about that in the camera focused vlog that I'm using to Pro Camera 2D, and Pro Camera 2D always kind of tries to follow the hero, and because the camera tries to do that, I need to kind of deactivate this script so it stops following the character for a moment, so I can position the camera myself, and then I activate it again, so it starts kind of following the character again. So I think I'm gonna assign that in the editor. So let's create another serialized field so I can add this script in the editor. That's also private mono behavior, so it's typed mono behavior. This script we're writing is also typed mono behavior. So, and I'm gonna call it Pro Cam 2D. And yeah, I think that's it for now. So we're gonna need a start function. So Unity kind of has several functions that kind of handles the whole game. So one important is start, and the other important is update. Update is kind of handling everything that happens once per frame, so update will be called once per frame, so all the game related stuff will be handled in update. Start always will happen whenever kind of the game starts or this component starts. So what do we need to do when the game starts, more or less? We need to know where is our character. Yeah, one problem here is actually we need to position the camera to where the character is, but the problem is our character is placed itself in the start routine, because the character is loaded and the character needs to know, for example, where did I die last, and then I should start at this position. So this also happens in the starting part of the game, so we might have to wait a bit until this happens, and we have to make sure the character is positioned, and then we kind of move the camera after that positioning. So anyway, and we will go into detail with that a bit later. So okay, first let's get the position of the character. So we need to define this variable we've added here. So hero character transform is equal to my character, and I need to load the character here. So that's character. Oh yeah, I need using Platformer Pro. I need another word space for that, or I cannot load the type character. So now you can see class Platform Pro character. So character loader instance of main character game object transform. So you don't need to really understand everything what here happens, but just to explain it, this line kind of gives the transforms, so the position of the character, to this container, to this variable, because here when we kind of set it up, it's empty, and here we give them some numbers. So it would be, I don't know, 7 for x, 13 for y, and 0 for the z position. Okay, so at start we already know where the character is. So then we need a function that kind of waits until one frame has ended, and so we're sure everything happened, and then we can position our camera. So for that, we're using a coroutine. Coroutines are kind of like the update class, but they happen independently of the update class. So, and what is cool about coroutines, you can kind of wait in them. You can wait until something happened, or you can wait until I don't know, 20 seconds are over. You can't really do that in the update function because it needs to be updated every frame. So let's start a coroutine here, and we call that coroutine wait a moment. Yeah, call that like that because it just needs to wait a moment until everything is set and we can move the camera to the right position. So actually we don't need the update function, so let's get rid of it. But we need the private enumerator wait a moment. So this line here starts this function, wait a moment. And since it's an enumerator, it needs to return something. That's why it's red underlined right now, but this will change soon. So yeah, first we have to wait until the frame is over. So yield return new wait for end of frame. So this just simply waits until the update loop is over once and the frame is done. So we know everything is set. And now we need to position the camera. So we take the game object here, so my camera, and we need the transforms. So transform, and we don't want to manipulate the rotation or something else, we just need the position. So position, my camera transform dot position. Okay, that's a vector with x, y, and z, and we want to assign a new vector to that. So new vector 3, and here will be x, y, and z in it. So that's how a vector is built up. So x coordinates, y coordinates, and z coordinates. And we want to assign, for x, we assign hero character transform dot position dot x. And for y, we take hero transform position, position dot y. And the problem with the C is that if I would position the camera also to hero character transform dot position dot C, it would kind of move the camera onto the character, but the camera needs to be a bit, well, behind the character so it can, well, film the character. So we have to kind of make sure that the camera's C position stays where it is. So we cannot simply do that like that. We have to kind of store the C position first. So let's add another variable, private float. Float is just a floating point unit, so I don't know, 1.743 or something. C position. And we need to store the camera Z position when we start up the game. So let's say Z position, so the variable we just defined. is equal to my camera dot transform. So again, transform component position dot c. So at this position, we kind of store this value in this variable, and we're gonna use it here again. So we're gonna just put it back. So the new vector will have on its C position the one that we stored here. So C position. All right. Now one other important or one last important thing is that I will deactivate the script that kind of controls the camera, and so we have to activate it again, or it will not really follow the character. So let's add, we defined here the mono behavior script. It's called procam2d, so we're gonna activate that. So procam2d should be enabled, so procam2d.enabled equals true. So it will be enabled again. And I think that's it already. So let's move over it quickly again. So we have an object that is my camera. We have the transform, so the position of our character, and we have the script that controls the camera, and we have the C position where we store the camera's C depth. So, and at start we kind of get where the character is and save that into this variable. We check where the C position of our camera is and store that in this variable. Then we start the coroutine, which first waits until the first frame is rendered, and then it positions the camera to the position where the character is, but with the omission that it will take the position we foresee that we stored before. And at last it activates the camera script again. So let's check if this is working. Let's save it, go back to Unity, and we'll have to assign a few variables here in the inspector. Can you remember that I added the serialized field tag to a few of the variables, so they should, whenever that is compiled, it should appear here. So the two variables that have serialized fields are visible here in the inspector, the others are not visible. So let's check it out. So my camera is visible and procam2d is visible. My camera, procam2d. So we need to assign that here. So my camera is just move the camera over here. Actually, this is not really clever because it's just a transform of this game object. So it's not really necessary to assign that. So let's fix that quickly. We actually don't need this one here. Because it's just transform dot position, because it's just the transform of this game object where the script is attached. So we don't need that. It's the script already knows that it just takes the transform of itself. So yes, it should work like that. So let's save it again and let's go back. Okay, so this will disappear soon. All right, it's gone. So we only have to assign the script that kind of controls the camera. So this here, procam2d. So let's assign that. So I grab the script and place it in the inspector. There will be other ways to kind of get that component, but just decided to do it this way. So we have the procam2d component, which will be enabled at the end of the frame, so we can disable it here. So let's, as a test, let's move the camera very far away. The character will be loaded here, and my camera is over here, so it's quite far away. So from here to here, let's check how that looks without the script active again. This would look like this. Okay, see the camera panning in. And now to compare this and see if everything is working fine, let's deactivate this script again and activate this one, and let's check it out. So you should be able to see that the camera just will flip over just in one instance. Not flip over, just move over in one instance. Yeah, you see that, there it is, and there was no movement at the beginning of the game. Can I move? Does the camera follow? Yeah, everything is kind of working as normal. Okay, thanks for bearing with me. This one was a bit longer, but I really wanted to explain in detail what the script is doing and how this works. Pretty sure not every one of you is a coder, so yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, although it was a bit longer. That's it for today. I hope you kind of enjoyed this little entry into programming, and I hope it was kind of understandable what I was doing here. Gamescom is coming up rapidly now, and actually a lot of other things have happened in the last few weeks or days. I try to catch up on that next week, so stay tuned, and yeah, see you later.